And yeah, like look at this. Like what is this? What is this? Like that's not what you want to see when you are opening your code editor. Like what is this? Why does it even like? Why do you care? Like that's not good. I don't think that's good. Looks like we're live. Hello everyone. So today I would like to at least start setting up Emacs on my Mac. So the reason why I want to set up Emacs as compared to something else is that right now I use Cursor, so it's AI LLM based editor, which is basically a fork of VS Code. So we can say that I use VS Code. And yeah, prior to Cursor, I was using VS Code as well. So the reason I would like to explore something else is because using AI based editors, I can feel that I'm getting more and more stupid. I forget stuff. It's too easy to rely on AI to write your code. And therefore I would like to have or at least explore alternatives, and I will try to avoid integrating like a lot of AI features. I probably still want to have some sort of AI LLM integration into my editor, whether it's Emacs or something else. But we'll kind of try to keep it simple first, and then just feel again like um, writing code by hand, right? So I just want to have something simpler basically, because I still believe that cursor is overkill. Now, when it comes to the actual work, I still think that whatever saves you time, whatever is helping you to accomplish your goal fast enough is good. So in this case, like in my case, it's a cursor, right? But when it comes to exploring, learning, educating yourself, so for example, you are learning a new language, new programming language, new technology, it's still better to not rely on AI to write your code. It's good to have AI beside you to like perhaps just have a chat open beside you just to be able to ask questions and help you to understand what's going on when you're exploring a new tech, new programming language. But the act of writing code should be by hand, right? I think it's important to implant that um, knowledge, the experience, the errors that you encounter into your own head. Because when you just use AI, yes, sure, you might still understand, but you will not use as much of your brain power as you should. Therefore, what happens is that it might give a false sense of um, under feeling that you like. In my case, right? I think that I learned something because I kind of made it working. I kind of understood what I saw, like the code that they are written for me. However, when I try to replicate it myself, right, at the end of the day, what happens is that I just don't remember how to do it, right? I might not understand it as well as I think I am, right? So at least that was my experience, and I also I tried to use Emacs before, right? So like I used it like randomly for about like a month or two. I went through Emacs tutorial like a couple of times. I kind of remember like some navigations, right? Like it's control N and P and all that stuff. However, I would still say that my experience with Emacs is like very low, like beginner, even whatever comes before that, right? Because for day to day, I use Vim. I was using the normal terminal Vim, like actually Neo Vim, for a year or so, both like full time at work and like for side projects. Now, then later, I switched to VS Code because I wanted to have some. I still like GUI, Like I like to have a nice UI in my apps, and that includes my code editor. But I was using the Vim key bindings for that, right? Now the problem that I realized with VS Code over time, what happened to my VS Code configuration is I started to remove a bunch of stuff, and I just thought like, okay, fine. If I want to customize my code editor so much, might as well use something that is already customizable. Now, why don't I try NeoVim again? Is because I still kind of prefer to have some sort of UI. Right, that's one thing. And the second thing is that I feel like I just like some of the tools that are like kind of a standard in Emacs world. So for example, I have here open. So there is a thing called Magit. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So as we can see, it's just a text-based user interface to Git. And we can see from screenshot, it's like uh, essentially a Git client that manages, I think, all of the operations of Git. Now, I don't have a lot of familiarity with Magit, but from the limited time that I tried it, like it was super good. Like it can be the reason to use Emacs just because of Magit. So that's one thing, right? Then I guess the second thing is that I guess I'm just bored and want to try something different. Like there is not really much reasons. Like uh, if we are to think about like any other reasons to use Emacs, I guess I'm watching too like lots and hours of sorting content, and he's using Emacs, so I guess I thought, okay, maybe I should try Emacs too. Yeah, of course he will say that the code editor doesn't matter, it's what you do what matters, and he's right. However, we're still going to explore Emacs. So today uh, we're going to try to configure Emacs. We will do some basics first. I'm not going to go into too many details because I started my stream late today and I don't have a lot of time. Right, but yeah, let's try to get something working. Right. So first of all, on Mac, there are multiple versions of Emacs, and from my research and my previous experience, there are only like two nice ports of Emacs for Mac. So one is an S port and another is like called Mac port. So basically the difference is that an S port is slightly more closer to the original Emacs, if we can call it that way, while Mac port has some different subjectively upgraded UIs and some additional features, which is I believe is maintained independently by Mitsuharu Yamamoto. Yeah. So yeah, and there is no big difference in general, I think, between which one to choose. Right. There are some people that are saying that one or another is more performant on their machines. In my case, I'm going to use MacBoard because that's something that I installed before, and I just think that, well, it's good enough, so I don't see a reason of trying like anything else. So just going to install that. The way to install it, by the way, for NS Emacs, like one of the ways to install it is just go to this emacs-for-macos.com website and just download it. But there is other options to install through Brew. But since in our case we're going to use, I'm going to use the Mac port one. So the original source code is hosted on Bitbucket here, but this repo provides the Brew recipe to install this emacs-mac port, right? So we're just going to install through that. So yeah, let's just get started and see. how it goes. Okay, so we run this command. And by the way, just to show you, right? So let's just go here. Yeah, let's go here, I guess. So let's see. If I open my VS Code now, if it opens on the correct screen, oof. Yeah, I still use Lighting here. So let me just find some file, right? So this is my VS Code essentially. So I have a bunch of stuff disabled and removed from here. For example, there are no tabs here. A lot of items from this bottom bar are removed. Um, the font configuration is different. I use Vim as well. Well, for some reason, I still use Live Theme here. I haven't opened VS Code in a while. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and there's still like more things that I want to remove, and it's just like keep coming up. So I decided, hey, like I guess I should be using some editor that I can just have a config for, and I guess like VS Code, like you can configure it through the settings, like it's a JSON file. Yes, like, let me just zoom in a bit. Yeah, so like this is my config for VS Code, right? The reason like it feels a bit off to use JSON for configuration here because it's not as hacky as I would like it to be, and therefore I just thought that like having some sort of like actually hackable editor is good. For example, in NeoVim, like you can just use Lua to config, modify, and extend your editor. In Emacs, you use Emacs-Lisp. So yeah, like one of those will be, I think it's a good choice. Now, in the worst case, if I don't like it at the end, I can just, well, return back to my VS Code or cursor, right? And yeah, like look at this. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, that's not what you want to see when you are opening your code editor. Like, what is this? Why does it even like? Why do you care? Like, that's not good. I don't think that's good. Like, the way these editors treat you, right? They think that you are some stupid little programmer that like cannot understand that they know what they're doing. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know I have Docker installed. If I wanted some extension, I would probably have it installed already. In fact, I think I do have it or no. Okay, no, I don't have it. I quite keep it. Yeah, I keep it to the minimum right here. But still, like you as a programmer should already know what you have installed, and therefore, when you need it and if you need it, you have a capability of figuring out what you need and when you need it. And having these notifications is just annoying because, again, it's treating you the way that you are just VS Code thinks that you are just some stupid little programmer, right? So, yeah. So let's see how is our installation doing. Actually, let me just, whoa, that's not what I want to do. Let me just keep it open here. Yeah, I guess we are going to use this project to test. Okay, so brew tab is done. So now we need to install Emacs. I think the latest, let me check. So the latest Emacs version, I think it's 29 something something, the stable release at least. Yeah, so I think this is okay. There were some concerns about the fact that this port is not being maintained. But if we take a look, right? Right, so this is Bitbucket. Okay, like the reason is that when we go to the master branch here, well, still master. I believe the latest commit is like 2023, which is yeah quite a long time ago. But there is a branch called work, yeah, where we can see some more or less recent activity. I'm not sure if there is anything in 2025, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there is still some work going on. So I think it's fine. Like, it's okay to use this port. And the best thing here is that even if, let's say, this author abandons this port of Emacs, what we can do, as long as we have our configuration, we can just carry it over to another port. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, one thing I believe what will happen with all of these code editors is that they have higher potential of going obsolete, like VS Code, especially Cursor or all these new forks of VS Code. They have a higher potential of going obsolete compared to something like Emacs or Neovim. Now, the reason why I say that is historically we can say that Emacs and Neovim or Vim, for that matter, are just older and they lasted for a very long time. Like those projects were started like in what year? Like Emacs creation date. Do we have? Can we get that? Yeah, 1976. Like that's like very long time ago. I wasn't even born yet. In comparison, something like VS Code is quite new, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that those forks, I mean, not forks, but those editors can go obsolete. New doesn't mean that it's not reliable because at the end of the day, all of them are still open source. I mean, at least VS Code is open source, but still, I kind of have more confidence in something like Emacs or Neovim. Now, yeah. Oh, another thing I want to say for Emacs, I think I want to stick with the Emacs default bindings. I'm pretty fast using Vim, and I like the speed. But as I said, just because I'm bored, I'm going to try Emacs bindings and just leave with it. I already remapped my control in caps lock, so I just use caps lock as my control, so I will not have any problems with my finger. Right. So yeah, let's just install it now. So I guess we can just run this one. So it would be, yeah. Let me just get this guy and yeah, we'll go here, brew, install, cask, Gray browser. Yeah, install this one. Meanwhile, let me check. We seem to have one viewer. I believe it's me myself. Let me actually hide this viewer count and just stream like we have many viewers. Okay, we have it installed. Let's check. Do we need to do anything else? Nope. Does it say anything here? Nope as well. Oh, I remember there was. Let's just check the documentation because I remember. Yeah, I believe if we try to. Oh no, it appeared here. Okay. Oops. Okay, we have the command as well. Is it available here? Yep. What will happen if we do this now? Okay. Here we go. Oh my god, that's not what I want to do. Wow, okay, that's small. I can move around. Excuse me. So let me just try to yeah, I guess open something. So this is a Django Python code base. This is one of my ambitious side projects. Right. Okay. Okay. So how do I F and then B to go left and then A to go back in the line, beginning of the line, and Control E to go end of the line. Yeah, I remember that stuff. We're not going to bother like with learning Emacs to be honest right now because I will just do it off stream. I think. I don't think that's an interesting content to watch. I'm not even sure even if this is interesting to watch. Can I? How do I increase font? That would be Yeah, I guess we need to check that. Let me just quickly check because Emacs, Grease, phone. I mean, no, just like Zoom. Draw like, uh-huh, uh-huh. So we do this and then we do this. Okay, okay. I think that's better. It should be much better, actually. Let me just do it a bit more. Nice. Okay. Okay, so we have it running. We're going to get rid of all of this stuff. So one of the thing about Emacs, I think, like compared to, well, let's compare it with VS Code, right? So compared to VS Code is that like whenever you open Emacs, it's just, oh, what happened here? It doesn't matter. Compared to VS Code, when you are opening Emacs, it's just bare bones editor, and it's a bit hard to navigate around unless like you know what you're doing. There is nothing there. Now, even compared to something NeoVim, I think in, NeoVim has a little bit more resources and it feels, I think, a little bit less overwhelming to configure. You can get started with like very like minimum amount of configs, and there is one way to start with NeoVim actually. Like I know we're streaming Emacs now, but let me just show it. There is a thing called Kickstart and Vim, which is basically a um, starter configuration for NeoVim. So like what I was doing before, right? I wasn't even like synchronized with this Git repo. What I was doing is I was just like coming here, like copying the entire file and just pasting into my config, and like it gets you everything that you need to get started with NeoVim and have a base for your own config. So basically this configuration is meant to be used as something like a starting point so you can get started with something, with editor with some capabilities, and then you just extend and modify based on this. And another, I guess, like one of the best things about this config file is that it acts as a guide as well, because if you just read it from top to bottom, you can actually find like a lot of information about what everything is doing here, right? So that's a very like nice starting point. Now, I was looking for something like that in Emacs, and I tried one of the tools before. So it's called Emacs Configuration Generator by a modernist. I'm not sure if the author is actually called a modernist, but I think, uh, yeah, I think it's their name. So this is a web-based like small app that like guides you through the process of configuring your own Emacs. And how it works is that step by step, you choose what you want your Emacs to look like or how you want your Emacs to behave. And then at the end, it will just generate a configuration for you, which you can just copy paste. Very simple, very nice. This configuration, however, I think lacks a little bit of explanation on like what each of like everything does. But well, I guess the author knows that you are the programmer. You are capable of Googling. You are capable of using AI maybe for educational purposes. You can just find that information. So yeah, now we're just going to start here. And yeah, I like the philosophy of the author. Like they're saying that it's much more overwhelming to start with the like larger frameworks and so on. So for Emacs, for example, like the one of the most popular way of using Emacs is actually Doom Emacs. So it's configuration framework, yeah. So Doom Emacs comes with everything out of the box. Yes, it is configurable. You can disable or enable things, and there are a lot of optimizations around your configuration as well, which is a nice thing. And the author is very nice. Like he's very responsive. He's always there. there is a nice Discord community as well. I believe it's not only Discord, but yeah, I know the Discord community is very big. It's very nice. However, one of the reasons why I don't want to use Doom Emacs, I tried it before, by the way, but one of the reasons I don't want to use Doom Emacs, because it's just a bit heavy. So I want to try to keep it simpler, because I'm running from VS Code because of all of the complexity and all of the stuff that keeps appearing on my screen. So I don't want to go back to the same uh, environment, right? So Doom Emacs would be kind of it. Now, I can configure Doom Emacs the way I want, because at the end of the day, it's still your Emacs, right? The problem with Doom Emacs is just it's a little bit overwhelming. There's just so many things and configurations that needs to be dealt with that it's a bit harder for me as a beginner, because not only I'm not familiar with Doom Emacs, I'm not even that very well familiar with the Emacs itself, right? So, but as a starting point, Doom Emacs might make sense, because that's where I started. Oh, and another thing, I guess Doom Emacs is using evil mode by default. So Emacs evil mode is basically a way to use Vim inside your Emacs. Let's see. Let me just open this thing. Yeah, Evil is an extensible VI layer for Emacs. It emulates the main features of Vim and provides facilities for writing custom extensions, blah, blah, blah. So essentially what Evil does is it allows me to use Vim inside the Emacs. And it's not just, I mean, it is technically an additional layer on top of Emacs, but it's integrated so well that you don't feel like you're missing out. So it is a part of the editor. Like in comparison to VS Code, Vim emulation feels like emulation. It's just a foreign citizen inside VS Code. The Evil is very different. It's a very nice plugin, but I'm not going to use it because I just want to try to stick with the defaults of Emacs and see if I can live with that. Right. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. So let's just start configuring it. So the first choice is theme. I guess, okay, these are the pre-installed themes. There is a way to install them later. So I think let me just pick something that is like dark mode and simple. And then where I believe off stream, I'm going to find something that I will be happy with. Let's see. Let's try to go through this quickly. Just want to see how they all look like, because we still want some nicer defaults. No, no, no. Wow, that's so clean. Light theme. Oh, but okay, I like something. Not this. I think, okay, between these two, yeah, I think I like this one. So let's just go with this one. Use default system font. Or let me do one thing. So let me refresh this page. I just want to see like what this author suggests for by default. Oh yeah, we can see that use default font system font is enabled by default. Now, I don't really understand whether here it means the editor font or the application font. So I will just leave it checked since it was checked by default, and I don't really care. We can just modify it later. So yeah, so we choose this theme. Okay, so this, let me open Emacs. Okay, so Emacs comes with these menus, menu bars, title bars, and all that stuff, right? So this is helpful for a new user, because like it provides some GUI elements to interact with your editor, but I don't think I want to keep it. We'll just try to, yeah, we'll just try to use it without it, right? So I'm just going to disable all of it. I don't really need scroll bars, toolbar, menu bar, and it actually comes down to the focus. So whenever I'm writing the code, the most important piece for me to focus on at that point of time is the code itself. The fact that I lost menu bar, toolbar, scroll bar change, will not make any difference in the way I write code. In fact, it will, if I hide them, right, it will only benefit me because the only thing I see is the code itself, so I can just focus on writing my code. We can say sort of Zen mode, right? It's easier for me to focus because there is only one interactive thing in front of me, right? So it's all about like diverting attention. Whenever you visit some website, you will have like multiple primary color, so to speak, buttons. You have a feel of clicking all of them. Now, the same thing happens when you have a lot of interactive elements in your code editor. Now, different, of course, I agree that different people might feel different, but in my case, I prefer to have the editor itself, the area where I can write text and edit text, delete text, as the main focus, right? So yeah, I'm just going to remove those, and let me just get a little bit of water. My bitrate is acting up. Well, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so the splash screen. Okay, the splash screen is basically this sort of welcome screen, which has links to tutorial and like manuals and all that stuff. I think I want to keep it, right? I don't see any reason to disable it, like unless I want to configure my own welcome screen. But for now, it's fine because most of the time I'll be opening Emacs inside certain directory anyway, so it's whatever, right? Then, okay, user interface. Okay, now here comes the fun part. When using Emacs, you will frequently find that you will be queried information like what file to open, what buffer to switch, command to execute. It's done using mini buffer, a section at the bottom, the Emacs frame. Depending on the kind of name, you can provide context-sensitive help to complete partial input. Emacs default completion behaves similar to Bash. In that, pressing tab, it first attempts to expand a string up until an ambiguous point, then pops up a list of possible completions. A popular alternative to this is expanding approach is interactive narrowing. This is to say the list of candidates, files, buffer, etc. are immediately presented and the user restricts this until they have found what they're looking for. Okay, so mini buffer in Emacs is, let me just like full screen this and let me do this. Okay, so I believe it would be this, yeah. So mini buffer is basically like this small little input box here. Let me just like, yep. So it's this part. So here where I can write some commands, and when I press tab, you can see there is like certain suggestions here. Now, what the author of that config generator is saying that there are alternatives to this. So what they're saying is that you can type, and as you type, you will get narrowed suggestions. So essentially, it's when I type something, press tab, I get some of the potential suggestions. When I add another character and I tab, I get another suggestion, right? I mean, it already tries to autocomplete everything for me, right? So instead of like pressing tab manually, what we want is to have those suggestions always coming up. So yeah, for that, yeah, Vertigo, like I did my research before off stream, so this is like kind of one of the modern packages. There are a lot of other packages, older and like different, but Vertigo is fine. I don't see a reason why not, so we'll just use it, right? And then, okay, so display completions horizontal, which takes place vertically, which might be easier to read. I don't really know. So the vertical is by default as you type, the commands will show up as at least like one by one vertically here at the bottom, basically. Horizontal is that it will be showing up beside as you type, so you can still keep your mini buffer input as one line, right? Let me think. I believe I do want it horizontally, actually, when I think about it. Yeah, let's just keep it. Yeah, let's just keep it minimalistic, and then I'm not really sure what this means, but sure. Okay, consult. Yeah, what is consult? Let's check that. That can function complete. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me see. Wait, do we have? Yeah. So just GitHub. Let's just open GitHub. What consult does is it integrates some of the commands and functions together with Vertigo, so the entire integration feels correct. Now, I might be wrong, but that's how I understand it. So, for example, it has a like grep command that will integrate nicely with Vertigo. So whatever completions are to be shown, they will show up in the Vertigo window, right? So I think, yeah, I guess we want it. Add command to jump to definitions. Sure, we can add everything. We'll just remove if we don't need anything. Ignore case when completing. I wonder how VS Code behaves here. Wait, I never really thought about it. So let's just open the VS Code and then just see. So in VS Code, the way I work now is, I use Vim as I said, and I jump between files using Command P. Okay, it's case, insensitive. So because when I type file here, I can immediately see like all caps files as well showing up here. So it doesn't really care. But in this case, it's actually a fuzzy finder though. Yeah, it's not really a completion. How does, let's see, wait, how does my thing does it? Wait, if I type like this, it is case sensitive. Yep. Well, I guess we want to keep it case sensitive then. Yeah, that's something I'm more used to. See, that's one of the things. Although I don't realize it, there are some habits that I gained that I don't really feel that I have them. So it's configuring something from scratch like this, something as important to developer as code editor, kind of opens up a lot of facts about yourself. So I already realized that I prefer my completion to be case sensitive, and that's just interesting, right? So it's good to sometimes have self-awareness about what type of workflows um, is more closer to you. It's very interesting, right? Now, let's see. So line numbers, because you don't really, it is disabled by default because you don't really need it most of the time. You might not have it enabled everywhere as often context path changes text file. You might address some mobile documentation interactive like such as shell or REPL. Therefore, better only to rely on number when interacting with program code. I mean, yeah, we want, okay. And to be honest, we want relative line numbering. Like, that's what I prefer. I don't think I'm using that in VS Code because, let's just double check again. Hey, I think I should keep it open. Yeah, it's not relative because I don't really, like, at least in Vim, I don't really use, like, number of lines to jump anywhere. So usually why you want to have like relative line numbering means is that here it will show up as 1, so your base, and then it will show the next lines as 2, 3, 4. So basically relative from your current file, how many steps is to go down, right? So in Vim, I don't really use that sort of navigation. So most of the time it's like block selection this way, or like just deletion, like normal J and K and all that stuff, right? So I don't really use it, but I think I might be using it in Emacs. I remember I was using it in Emacs before, so yeah, I don't even remember the reason, but I think it might be easier to navigate around this way. So I'll just yeah, we'll just configure it later because there is no option for relative line numbering here, but we'll do want to have lines. Now, only in programming modes, like Emacs has this concept of major and minor modes. I'm not going to pretend that I really understand those. Not understand, but I don't even remember, to be honest. Perhaps I would read some documentation of stream later because yeah, I need to brush up on my Emacs skills. But we can say that programming modes is basically whenever you open a buffer, whenever you open like an editor, whenever you open your code, you like I'll probably be in the programming mode, so which means that the lines will show up, and that is all of it is configurable. So as long as Emacs can recognize that I'm editing a code, it will show the line numbers. So this is what it means, right? So yeah, but it will not show it when I open a text file, for example, or MD file, because that's not really a programming mode. That's not really a coding. So the argument there is that the line numbers are not necessary. Interesting choices, and whether you like whether you agree or not, uh, there is a reasoning behind those choices, right? So, and that's the best thing. Although there are some opinions that are enforced upon user by both Emacs and NeoVim, I would say. NeoVim, NeoVim is more minimalistic in that regard, but of course there are still opinions. I mean, the Vim key bindings themselves are certain opinions, right? Although like a lot of opinions are enforced, most of the things are hackable. So the entire editor can serve you the way you would like to use. Like I like certain stuff. My friend might like different stuff. My colleague might like different stuff. And all of us can have a same base editor with all of our additional customization. So both Emacs and NeoVim can be customized in a way where it would feel as your personal development environment. Yeah. The one of the NeoVim influencers, Tej, he was talking about PDE, I believe. Oh no, that's not personal development. Yeah, I think that should be YouTube now, not shouldn't come here. So just teach PDE. Just yeah. So he's talking about concept of personalized development environment. So essentially, what it means is that each developer might have their own opinions and workflows, and their editor is something that should be customizable and adjustable for me or you personally to use, right? So that's a very nice concept, and both NeoVim and Emacs allow that. So that's why it's a good thing. So yeah, let's just try to get through it because it takes a while. I'm talking too much, I think. Do you want Emacs to automatically add closing parentheses when you insert or opening? Yeah, sure. Should Emacs or just move to automation? Most people use Emacs for programming section. Yep. Okay. LSP support. I'm not going to explain what is LSP, but basically it's a way that your editor shows the errors in the code. Not only errors, but like errors, code completion, in some cases formatting, in some cases even linting, right? So it does all of that kind of stuff. Like this is what makes the editor more like IDE, right? So VS Code by default is using that as well. So yeah, I think in Emacs, there are at least a couple of ways of adding LSP, right? So, and I think that Iglot is one of the more official ones. Emacs, LSP, just check that. Yeah, there is LSP mode and there is Iglot, right? If I call it correctly, if I pronounce it correctly, but I think the LSP mode. Okay, I remember from my experience, configuring LSP mode was easier. It was more out of the box type of experience for me at least, and Iglot did not really work for me at the time because I think Iglot is much more minimalistic but it's also like less resource heavy, I think. So we're just going to try to use it this time. Now, I'm not sure if we can configure the LSP itself this stream, but let's just have the Iglot installed, okay? So let me just to enable, yeah, sure. Inline static analysis on the fly. Now this will just user in front end to display error depending on the language. I just get buffer on compatible speed, can semantic warnings. Okay, sure. I think depending, I just can't. The fly make is already built in. Yeah, okay. The only difference that it will make is that it will update it. So this package is already in Emacs. So enable by default when programming. Sure, display without prompting. Sure. Oh, that's nice. Sure. So I believe bind commands to navigate messages means essentially similar to what I do in VS Code, right? So if I have this file open and let's say, like I have a bunch of errors here, so I can just jump to them this way. And it's very easy like to go through all of your errors if you need to fix them. So that's what I do. I'm not sure why it's even erroring, to be honest. Oh wow, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I keep closing VS Code. I should keep it open, but never mind. VS Code deserves that. Right. So check next. Hello. Hi, Choma. Okay, we have our first chatter. Now, what are we going to do next? Okay, so pop-up completion. Yep, we're going to add that. So it's basically a window that opens under your cursor whenever there is something that triggers to show the completions. That window will pop up. So the curfew is basically that window itself. I guess enable automatic unprompted completion. I don't really know what it means, but let's enable it because I want to see what it will add. We can just remove it later. Right, it's not a big deal. Yeah, this is why I'm saying do not confuse this with the completion framework. So this is not the completion itself, but rather just a window. Okay, debugger, nope, I don't want to have that in my editor. Git client, yes, Magit, one of the best softwares ever created, sure. What kind of differences with div-chan? Yes, I guess. Word granularity differences within div chunks. Yeah, we want that, I guess. We might not want it, to be honest. Yeah, let's just keep. Let's see. Like any misconfigurations that I chose here, like I believe I will start to feel it immediately because it's one of the things that I use every day for like many hours, at least 10 hours a day, right? So might as well just like it's fine to like choose something wrong because everything is modifiable. And even like let's say if I want to refer and see how this config generator does it, right? I can just come back to it, like reconfigure it, right? So it's very easy, copy paste. Oh yeah, so diff-hl. Let me just. Oh no 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 no. I just clicked. Okay, I think it seems to keep my stuff. Okay, that's good. Wait, where did it open? What happened? Yep, it's here. Okay, let me just open this one. Do we have any screenshot? Yeah, so it's like a tool that allows to see the difference, like comparison to the Git within the buffer itself. It's very nice. So I just, yeah, I want to have it and update highlighting without saving. Update highlighting without saving. Okay, with quick glance section have been added, modified, or removed. You want to be into highlighting these changes next to the content of the buffer. Update the highlighting without saving. So does that mean if I edit something in diff.hl, it will just edit it directly? Sure, I guess. Let's see. That's not really. I don't use like diffing in VS Code because it supports that too that often. I just do it to check before I commit something. But sometimes, yeah, I do use git show command for me to see the difference. So that's why I want to have this tool as well. Now I'm not really sure if I'll be updating anything within that window, but yeah, whatever. Like if I notice any issues, I'll just remove that config later. It's not a big deal. And then we have a bunch of language supports here. Okay, so for language specific mods, I'm going to deal with all of this later and probably off stream, right? Because that would be too much to configure. But basically, it's mods that will add additional features for that specific programming language, right? So I don't want to deal with that yet. LaTeX support, not really needed. Markdown support, sure. Org mod, eh, sure, I guess. Yeah, like org is built in, so you might as well update it. Sure. You might also extension the with org by default. Yeah, sure. No, 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 no. You know what? We don't want that. I'm not really sure if I would like to use org mode. I mean, I tried it, I think, long time ago, but I never really used it. So, yeah, I don't really want to deal with this. Yeah. We might try it later, but I would need to dedicate some time for it, right? It's not that simple. Now collaborative editing. Yeah, this is fun idea. Using Emacs together with your friends. That's not what I want to do. IRC client, not really. Editor config, not really. In Max. Terminal emulation. No, not really. So there is already a terminal emulator within Emacs. I don't really know if their other packages are better or not. So we're not going to install it. I will just check later. And then we have, yeah. So the editor itself. So we have AV. This is also a very interesting project, by the way. So let me see the screenshot. Yeah. So what it does, it allows me to jump around within the buffer based on some keywords. So I believe the way it works is that you will you will use some shortcut, and after that it will highlight certain parts of your text, and then you can just type these characters and you will immediately jump there. It's a very interesting way to navigate around. I'm not sure if I want to use it. I will just try to stick with Emacs defaults first, and if I later realize that I need something more, then I will try maybe. Editor emulation, yeah, so no. This is, yeah, something old, something that we don't care. Uh, if I not Skype any conflict of interest, this help to overcome your initial difficulties. Oh wow, that's interesting. Actually, I never knew this. No, I think it's fine. If you have previous experience with Vim, yeah, welcome to Evo. So no, we don't want to do that. Brief formulation, no, don't care about that. Okay, some useful options that are suggested. So guess the major mode from file name, sure. Require confirmation before closing Emacs, sure. Resize friendly with the pixel wise instead of character wise. Not really sure what it means, but I think it makes sense. Remember the last position in a file because yeah, the Emacs is GUI application. Remember the last position in the file? Sure. Remember the previous user input file selection? Sure. Remember what files put last open? Sure. I mean, oh, yes or no question? Sure. And I think, yep, we have our configuration. Okay, so before I copy paste everything and open Emacs, I'm going to take a small break. Uh, hello. We're back now. One a little problem that I realized. I forget to enable recording, so I guess we'll have to get our videos and highlights from the Twitch itself. So one thing about a beginner creator like myself is it's very important to have the recordings for the discovery because the content should be republished in different platforms like YouTube and so on. And I, even ignoring that fact, I just like to keep my voice on YouTube as well. So yeah, I forget to have recording enabled, so I think the quality might struggle a bit if I extract the recordings from Twitch, but I guess that's fine. So let's just see how it goes. We'll deal with it later. And yeah, let me quickly do something. Okay. So yeah, we have our initial starter configuration for Emacs, and it's using Emacs Lisp. So I don't know a lot about Lisp programming language. I just know that there are a lot of families or like variations of it. And I know there are a lot of parentheses there. So yeah, I guess I'm just going to copy paste all of this and then see how our Emacs will look like. And for that, I guess we can just do this, and then we're going to open Emacs. Okay. So can I close it this way? Yep, Control G. I believe to open the file is Control X and Control F. And then we can just go to emacs init. Oh, emacs.init. Oh, I don't have that file. Wait, let's see. It shows here init.l. Says this file under emacs.init l. Oh, okay. I remember something. So Emacs configuration can be saved in different directories, and I believe there is a priority order by which Emacs will go through and to find the configuration. So let me just quickly double check like what is considered a good practice. Well, I guess like where to save Emacs config, something like that. Config is the answer. Oh, why? Yeah, I just double check. Oof, that's so bright. I'm sorry. Just go back here. Mm-hmm. Emacs. Yeah, I guess it's fine to just use init L. Okay, since I have no idea how to create files in Emacs within Emacs yet, so I'm just going to come here, and there is nothing here, so I'm just going to touch init.el. So el is the Emacs Lisp file extension, right? So, and now I believe we can find it here. So init.l. Okay. Now how can we copy paste? That's an interesting that's an interesting problem. Paste in Emacs. That's a bit embarrassing to Google this, but hey, not copy to paste. Yep. So can we do? Wait, let me just copy it again. Yeah, all this, and then we can do this, and then this. Okay. 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 So yeah, it will take time for me before I'm able to comfortably jump around. Let me double check first my mic. Yep, all good, all good. Uh, yeah, so let's just make it a bit open. Yeah, so there is a bunch of stuff here. So I can see Glot, I can see FlyMake, I can see Maggot, Corfu, and all that stuff. Now later off stream, I'm going to figure out like how to deal with this configuration in a better way. So I know that you can reload Emacs within Emacs, so just load a new configuration. However, in our in my case now, because I don't really remember how to do that, I'm just going to close it. Yeah, I'm just going to close it and then reopen it, and I think it should just work. Yep. Now it takes time to load. The startup times for Emacs are just like not really as fast as NeoVim in general, and the fact that we need to download and compile all of these extensions now, it will take a bit time. Wow, okay. It's completely frozen for me. Let's just wait. Oh my god, what's happening there? Okay. And we're back. I don't know where my Emacs image, what happened to that. So let me see if I restart this thing. Okay, now it asks for confirmation. That's nice. Emacs. Okay, for some reason it opened on my secondary screen. Oh, now it's good. Okay, so I can see this image. Okay. Yep, so let's try to open that file. Okay, we already have some completions here. I'm not really sure if it's visible. I hope it is. I guess I need some way to zoom in my entire screen, but basically now if I type the file, I can already see some completions and they're horizontal. It's very convenient. So I'm just going to open this config file. Oh, and we can even see the line numbers now, and my theme is loaded as well. That's good, that's good. So let me just like zoom in a bit. Yeah. And yeah, we have something going. I wonder, the function vertigo mode is not known to be defined. Huh. Very interesting that um, it highlights the line where it sees like some, like I guess it does some like some static analysis and it shows some like issues. It's interesting that the message of the error is like shown in the mini buffer. I'm pretty sure you can kind of inline it and show like beside as long as your cursor is on it, or it shows in a pop-up window. But I mean, I guess it's fine. I can deal with that. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So whatever like analysis that it does now, it just shows it in mini buffer. I'm not sure um if that's intended or there's like something went wrong, but I'm just going to assume that it is. So let me try to like type some. Okay, yeah. So I believe so. This pop-up window for completion, I believe it's a Corfu now. I'm not really sure if this completion is LSP based or not. I think no, because the thing about LSP, like LSP in general in these type of editors, is that there is a need to have LSP server configured specifically like for the programming language that I'm using now. In case of VS Code, what it does is whenever whenever I install some extension for example for Python support, it will just automatically install the LSP server for me. Now, neither NeoVim or Emacs does that. There are easy ways I know, at least in NeoVim, to like automate that process and kind of install LSP servers. I'm not sure if there is the same way in Emacs, so that's something that I'm going to figure out off stream. Again, I'm not going to deal with LSP now, but oops, what's going? Oh, okay. So I can navigate through the whenever like I type Control N, Control P now, so like up and down commands basically in Emacs. So whenever I have this Corfu pop-up open, it just navigates through the suggestions, which is very nice. It's very convenient because it allows me to have a more like keyboard-centric approach. Now, if I do type something, it just lets me type it. Yeah, yep. And I think if I use arrow keys, it's like it's just navigating through these stuff too. If I press enter, yep, it chooses something. Very convenient, very nice. We have Magit to open CCG. Git repository. Okay, yeah, mini buffer now allows me to choose the Git repository when I open the Magit. I believe because I'm not currently in Git repository, it just like asked me to choose it. Yeah, so makes sense. Yeah, we have a bunch of things here. So div highlight as well. Yeah, all of this, yeah, miscellaneous stuff. Guess major mode from file name. Ooh, so yeah, it is using like some sort of like custom uh, function which calls a bunch of other functions to guess the major mode. Which is interesting. Yeah, we can see. So like this is some sort of a command. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is some sort of command that would set a major mode. And in this case, I guess it accepts a function. So this function runs a bunch of other commands to basically set this major mode. Yeah, that's what it does. It's very interesting. Yeah, Emacs-Lisp is something that to understand it better like requires time to nurture. I guess like everything else in our life, need to study this, right? But hey, we already have something. I guess I can work with this. Right, that's not really much that I want to change. Okay, so I do want to have. Okay, I think it does this configuration asks us about font. I think it is chooses it for specifically for the editor. So I think I should, yeah, I guess we're going to modify it. So I'm going to leave a bunch of comments now. So unfortunately today I have to end stream early. We haven't accomplished much, but I think that's enough because that's where my configuration will start from. So I'm just going to add some to-dos here. This is going to be, so, okay, set font. And I think I have like some choices. So it's either going to be iOS Sevka or JetBrains Mono. Okay. Yeah, so line, let me see, flat mode, commode, package installed consult, blah, 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 cloud ensure, okay, program mode, dynamic mode, okay, me, conform mode, okay, I'm just looking for a place where is it enabling, where is it enabling the line numbers, right? Okay, here. So here we're going to add another to do, enable relative numbers. Actually, yeah, let me just like showcase of like my process of finding and modifying this configuration file. So I'm just going to use like relative number as an example. So I'm just going to like literally Google relative line numbers Emacs, not with. And I know it's just there's like a built-in way of doing it. I don't think it's like very hard. Yeah, so yeah, there is display line numbers mode. So we just need to set it as relative. Very simple. And I think it will just work, hopefully. So we're just going to like copy paste this. Yeah, display line numbers mode. So it enables that mode. So what we need to do now is just oops, we need parentheses here. So I undo this, we do this. Oops. It's I did something wrong. I did something wrong. Yeah, just do this. And yeah, I do Control X, Control S to save it. Pretty sure I'll figure out a better way to do that later. And yeah, well, we still don't have a way to reevaluate these things, so I'm just going to close this window and we're just going to reopen the Emacs. Why it opens on my external monitor, I don't understand. So Control X, Control F to find file, Emacs init. Do I have relative line numbers? Oof, it didn't work. Huh, why? Add whole program would display line numbers mode. Secure line. Display line numbers. Relatives. Yeah, I'm pretty okay. I guess this did work. Yep, that's normal. So we just need to find yeah, we just need to find some other way, I guess. Yeah, because I don't really remember myself. It's display line numbers type. Wait, what did I? Okay, let's try this. Yeah, we even get the completion for it. Well, I just tried, I guess. Was it Control C? Yep. So Control X, Control C is just to exit Emacs. Oh my God, I need to deal with that later. It just keeps opening it in the wrong place. So Emacs. Oops. That's not what I wanted. I'm sorry. So users. So we have Emacs init. Is it relative now? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, we got it. So it's display line numbers type. And yeah, like with everything, yeah, that's not what I want to do. With everything, like when it comes to the configuration of this, like Emacs or NeoVim and so on, there are often like multiple ways of doing something, and um, some ways might appear like earlier compared to the other new ways. Therefore, some options, some settings are simply deprecated, or for example, there might be a way to do something manually, like just writing Lisp code, but later there appears some option or simple function that is already built in into Emacs. So that kind of creates this maintenance burden and requires to do a research on how to do things. And like at least I will say it's a bit important to keep up to date with what's going on. But at the same time, once it configured once, like majority of the times, there is no need to touch it. Like I'm pretty sure the moment I set up everything to my needs, I'll just keep it that way. And I might come back and reevaluate my config, make it faster, improve something, maybe once a year, maybe twice, like once every 2 years, and so on, right? But in general, it's more or less stable. I know a lot of like people who are using Emacs, they have their configuration configured like many years ago, and they just did not touch it, and it just works. So I believe it's fine. Yes, there is initial research that is required to do, but I don't see it as a struggle. Like I'm pretty much having fun. Um, it's very interesting to try to understand yourself and your workflows and configure your editor according to that. It creates a sense of self-awareness and allows me to like understand and discover habits that I might not be aware of, right? So uh, yeah, I guess that's it for today. It's a little bit of short stream, but we already have a lot of things going here for this config. I don't see any reason to go over line by line here. It's pretty much straightforward. So I already went through the config configuration and like config generation, and I think we covered pretty much all of it. So yeah, I'm just going to stop here and we can end the stream. So thank you everyone for watching. Bye bye.